Can you solve this Math Olympiad problem we have on the board? If you think you can, pause the video and make a guess. We are trying to solve for the value of x in x squared minus s cubed is equal to 12. To solve this, first thing we have to do is that we have x squared minus s cubed is now equal to, we now have to subtract 12 from both sides. So we minus 12 and this is equals to what? 0. Okay? So here, this is clearly a cubic function because the highest power of the unknown, x, is 3. Okay? So what we need to do is that we are going to express 12 as a sum of a cubic and a quadratic function. So we can now see that x squared minus s cubed, then minus 8 minus 4 is equals to 0 because minus 8 and minus 4 is still minus 12. Nothing changed. Okay? So if you look at minus 8, it can be expressed in powers of 3. So we have it that x squared minus s cubed minus 2 cubed, right? Then 4 can be seen as what? Minus 2 squared is equal to 0. Good. So since we have this, we will now pair the one that is common, the one that has powers of 2 together, and the one that has powers of 3 together. So we can rewrite it to be that x squared minus 2 squared, bringing this one together, then minus x cubed minus 2 cubed is equal to 0, right? So if we have this, we can now pair the first two and pair the second two. So if I pair the first two, I will have x squared minus 2 squared in a bracket, then minus, I will now have s cubed minus 2 cubed plus 2 cubed, and that's equals to 0. Okay? So because if you multiply this minus, it still affects everything. But you know one of the identities we have, that when you have a squared minus b squared, this is clearly difference of two squares, which can be expanded to be a plus b into a minus b. Okay, then you know again that when you have a cubed plus b cubed, that is the same thing as a plus b into a squared minus ab plus b squared. This is the expansion. So if you apply it here, what do we have? So instead of writing this, I will now write our a will now be x, our b will now be 2. So I can write this to be x plus 2 into x minus 2, okay? Then the minus, I will now have our x is a and our 2 is b. So I will now have it as x plus 2, okay, into another term will be x squared. You have it as x squared minus ab. That's minus 2x because that's it. Then b plus b squared plus 2 squared. And that's equals to 0. Good. If you look at this vividly well, you can see that we can factor out x plus 2. So if I factor out x plus 2, I'll now be left with x minus 2, okay? Then into everything here, which is minus, I'll now have x squared minus 2x plus 2 squared is 4, and that's equals to 0. Good. So if I have this now as what I have, I'll now use this negative to expand the whole bracket, and that will give you that x plus 2 into x minus 2, x minus 2x. I'll now have it to be x minus 2 minus x squared plus 2x minus 4 is equals to 0. See that I have x plus 2 into, you can now see x minus x squared, the highest power. Then x plus 2x is plus 3x. Then minus 2 minus 4 is minus 6. Okay? And this is equals to 0. Good. So since we have this, you can now see that when two terms multiplies to get 0, one of them is 0 or both of them are zeros. So basically we have that x plus 2 is 0. So we have that x plus 2 is equals to 0. So that we see that when 2 crosses the equality sign, it becomes negative. You see that x is equals to minus 2. So for the first value, x is minus 2. So for the second value, we have that minus x squared plus 3x minus 6 is equals to also 0. So if you have this, you can now see that we can decide to multiply by negative, and that will give us x squared minus 3x plus 6 is 0. So is there any two numbers that multiplies to get 6 but adds to get 3? No. So we use a general quadratic formula. In that quadratic formula, we have that x is equals to minus b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. Okay? Here you see that a is the coefficient of x squared. So a is the coefficient 1. B is the first term. You can now see that b is equals to minus 3. And c is the last term, which is 6. Good. So if you have this, we plug it in the formula. You see that x will be equal to minus b minus minus 3 plus or minus square root of b squared minus 3 squared, then minus 4 times our a is 1 and our c is 6 divided by 2 times 1, which is the a. And this will be minus minus is plus, minus, it becomes 3 plus or minus the square root of minus 3 squared is 9. 9 minus 4 times 1 is 4 times 6 is 24. 24 divided by 2. Okay? So you can now see that 9 minus 25, 9 minus 24 is 15. So we have that x is equals to 3 plus or minus the square root of negative 15 over 2. Okay? So you know the identity that when we have square root of minus 1 is I. Right? So let's put it here. That's the same thing as 3 plus or minus square root of 15 times minus 1 over 2, which can now be seen as 3 plus or minus square root of 15 times square root of minus 1. Okay? Over 2. The x is equals to 3 plus or minus 15. Root minus 1 is I, 15I over 2. Okay? This shows that for the first value, x1 will be what? Minus 2, as we solved initially. Then the second value of x will be equals to x2, will be equals to the positive 1, will be 3 plus or minus 15I over 2. And for the third value, x3, it will be what? 3 minus 15I over 2. And these are all the answers of x. Like and share for more exciting math tips like